My name is Jocelyn, and I am the Children's and Teen Librarian here at the Lyon Township Library. We are excited to have someone else joining us. Excited to have Paul Clancy with us. Let's see if I
Hey guys.
can. There's Paul.
Glad to be here.
And he is going to guide us through some fun Zendoodling. Let's see. So why don't, Paul, if you want to introduce yourself and
Yeah.
get started. You are far enough away from me that you can take your mask off if you want.
Look at me. Living it up. Okay. So my name's Paul. Just you guys, so I'm not like an official artist or Zentangle expert or anything, but I just like to draw. I'm currently going into my senior year at Michigan State, studying neuroscience. I want to be a doctor, prevent something like this from happening again, maybe. So yeah, what I'm going to do here today is we're just going to kind of go through, I'm going to brought some of the stuff I've made and kind of show you and talk how I got into Zentangle and just some general tips. And then we actually have some examples we're going to go through and do like a little, got this beautiful little hummingbird we're going to draw and hopefully have a good time. So Jocelyn over on the computer there. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask her and she can relay them to me. If you have any questions for me, let me know. If you can't see something I'm doing, let me know. If you can't hear me, let me know.
Is the audio okay so far? Thumbs up? Awesome. Okay. All right, Paul.
All good?
Go for it.
Okay, so I think, yeah, you guys see here. So this is one thing I made. I really like it's an owl, as you can tell. And so if you guys haven't heard of Zentangle before, basically what it is, it's drawing with the little mini patterns, and you can take those small patterns and incorporate them into a larger picture. So one thing, if you do any Googling or Pinterest, you see a lot of animal design. So obviously an owl, and it doesn't have to be this complicated. For example, this is a shark I drew. This is a lot definitely easier. This is something a lot easier to start out with, where you can kind of see, you can draw an outline of something, and then you basically can make these little triangles, and each thing you draw a different pattern. It can be really relaxing because sometimes I know when I try to draw just normally, your line gets messed up or it doesn't look realistic and it can be kind of stressful. So for this, the goal isn't to look like, photorealism. It's just to kind of have fun, relax, de-stress. It's also nice because a lot of stuff, as you can see, is pretty repetitive. So sometimes you can kind of, listen to music, listen to audiobooks, which you can conveniently check out with your library card at FPL, and then just, kind of doodle away. It's kind of like doodling. And then this other one thing, I drew a lion. Pretty cool. I didn't want to say, give credit's due. The lion and the owl. Oh, it's trapped in the frame here. So this lion and this owl, these are actually other designs I saw on the internet. So I think this incorporated parts of different owls I saw. So this is not like my original design, just so you guys know. We're not going to copyright. The shark is, which is why the shark is not as good as the lion and the owl. But alas. So first I want to show you guys, if you guys checked your email account, Jocelyn sent out some handy guide. So this is kind of what she sent out. This is a nice color picture. And this is just kind of how you do a Zentangle. So they do have names. Apparently Zentangle is actually like an official art form. You could become like an official licensed Zentangle instructor, and there's a whole big thing about it. I'm not that, so I don't have all those skills. But for example, this is just circles with loops in them. It's called print text, which is cool. But this just kind of shows you, some people, like let's say if you're more advanced at drawing, if one or two of you can say, look, I just draw a bunch of circles with swirly things in them. But if you look up, there's a lot of easier guides on like how to start. Let's see, some of these are more complex. Like for example, this stands for This is a little more complicated to draw, as you can imagine. If you look at like the final product, some of it is kind of advanced. It can be kind of hard to do. They also, if you look at this one, they have some shooting, some shadowing. That's some next level stuff there. I don't know if I'm quite there, but you guys could be. That's the point. We have Nippa here. And one thing you'll notice for some of these is some of them, for example, this looks like bubbles and water. So let's say if you're doing, for example, like a shark or like an aquatic animal, you could do that. And if something looked more like air currents, you could do that. You definitely don't have to, but if you had an inclination of this might look in this sort of piece, that could be something to think about. Are we good?
Yeah, I was just going to let you guys know we have some great Zentangle books here at the library. So if anyone's interested in checking any of these out, they're all available right now. And they've got lots of great ideas. And all of the examples that I emailed out today come from this book here, Zentangle Step by Step, the fun and easy way to create magical patterns, and it's by Hannah Geddes. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, so there, Jocelyn showed you guys a great resource. You can find a lot of cool stuff. I know I also mentioned when I got into it, there's a website called Pinterest, and they have all sorts of stuff. But there's really big Zentangle community. They have different animals, designs, architecture. You can really do, wherever your mind takes you. One thing to know sometimes, because Zentangle is actually copyrighted, I think, so Zendoodle can look up and get the same hit results there. And even sometimes just look up like cool pattern drawings, that kind of stuff, that can also show up. So what I thought I'd do for you guys today, oh, and here's one last one to show you. Where is it? It's like the one above. Here we go. Jocelyn's very organized. So this is something I like to use when I do it because it's a lot easier just to look at all of them, like look at once, you can kind of pick one out. Because I will say sometimes when you do it, you can kind of get a brain fart and you're like, I don't really know the best one to pick. It'd be kind of hard because there's so many of them. So, if you were to get into this, it is nice to have kind of an overall guide like so, and you can just easily refer to them when you're trying to create your own stuff. So what I thought I'd do for you guys today, again, if you check your email, you got a sheet of all these different animals. This was in the back of that book that Jocelyn just showed you guys. And we did today is print out a hummingbird in big version, pretty cool. And I was just going to kind of show you how you might want to go through that and do that yourself. So you guys are free to follow along with me if you want. You can, if you want to draw something else, again, you can find a lot of these things, the patterns online. I know also adult coloring books are really in now, and they have kind of the same thing. They can get overall bigger patterns and then use the small techniques I'm about to show you. But if you're more comfortable in your drawing ability, then you can draw your own silhouette, your own shapes. Again, you can draw whatever you want. It's you. So we'll start with that. Again, I like to have my nice sheet nearby. And then what I like to use is the Sharpie Ultra Fines because really fine point. It's easier to have details. You can also get them in like various different colors, which is nice if you want to have some color. I know one time I made something for my grandma, and it was like a garden scene inside different birds and trees and stuff. So you can use different colors, and that makes it look really pretty. Today, I probably will just do black and white, but maybe we'll switch it up. We'll see. And one more thing I just thought about is you can see, for example, in the shark that I did, if you think about what a great white shark looks like, the top is darker than the bottom. So as you can see here, the top patterns were ones that had more ink in them, more dark, whereas the ones in the bottom were like more sparse, not as much ink on the paper. So even though you're still just drawing black and white, it kind of gives the illusion of like, darker versus lighter. But something else that you can replicate in your own drawings. I don't know really how that correlates to a hummingbird here. I'm not a hummingbird expert. So I guess we'll just do the whole thing normally. So, and one other thing a lot of times I just have the personal tendency to draw stuff smally. So, for example, like something like this wing, I might break it up and do a couple different patterns within the same wing. But you guys could be free to draw it. If you want to do one for this whole section, it's really whatever you want. Again, it's up to you. So looking at this, let's see. I'm gonna check my pattern here. I think this one's pretty big. I'll first start with these smaller ones because that's gonna be a little easier. And looking, let's see, we have one called. So you have stripples. That was kind of cool. So you draw some lines and you draw some circles on them and you color them in. So let's see how that works. I might be a little rusty, so.
Yep, go ahead. I was gonna put this sort of like this so that they could see the stripples while you're doing it.
Holy moly. Genius. Okay, perfect. So you have some waving lines, so kind of angle here. So just parallel? Yeah, wavy parallel lines. Not quite parallel, but whatever. We all make mistakes. And again, one nice thing about this compared to, if you're drawing something for more realism is that it's okay to mess up. If you are doing something and you feel like, oh man, I smudged there, it's a lot easier in this way to incorporate that into your design. Whereas other stuff, it might look a little odd, could look a little off. But this is definitely a lot nicer. You can combine this with meditating, people probably do that. Then according to our stipple pattern, we're going to draw in. So as you guys can see, it looks like when you have a white band, then the circles are black, whereas if you have black band, circles are white. So black band here, so that means this band, actually we're going to draw another band because we should, which means this is going to be black. And then white circle, because opposite, so that means this is going to be black. And one other thing, you can see I did it here. This is a pro tip. I've still honestly been drawing for years now. I still mess it up. So we can see, right? We draw a circle. Let's use this circle because it's going to be a little easier. Black, white. Let me make sure. Sorry. Well, okay, we can use this one. So you see I drew a circle and I colored it in, but it looks like that white is a lot smaller than it was before. That's because if you think, the width of the ink on the circle is going to contribute to the background. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're doing it, when you're drawing a circle, is to actually make that line a little bigger than you want the circle to be, because when you color in, it's going to kind of shrink. That's one way to say it. So we kind of played ourselves because I already drew them all, so that was not my brightest move, but that's okay because again, it's Zendoodling. You can do whatever. Same thing here. Look at this circle. You can barely see it. You can see it. So I'm gonna draw this one in. Draw that. And one other helpful thing, if you're doing a big design, Sharpie makes all sorts of different sizes. So if you had to color, let's say you're doing this pattern for this whole giant wing, you can imagine it's a lot of blacks. If you use a bigger Sharpie, it's going to work really well. But one thing I like to use is something called micron pens, just the name. And I believe a Sharpie is like, I'll say 0.35 millimeter. Micron pens, they have all various sizes, but there's ones down to like 0.05, so a lot smaller than a Sharpie might be. So that's good, especially if you want many different types of details or designs. In fact, if you look at, the owl I showed you guys earlier, some of the lines you can see, these dots, you can't do that with a Sharpie because the Sharpie is too quick. So I'm not sponsored by Micron or anything. I just really like the products. So just got to plug in there. Okay, so we got your first design. Remember, we start with Stripple. You guys see it? We start with Stripple. We got some Stripples down. Looks pretty cool. So next one, let's see. I'm thinking we're gonna do waves. So waves, kind of same thing, a little more simple. Oh my! And Jocelyn came to the rescue with more pens. Cool. So maybe we'll So maybe we'll do waves with this pen to see how that would work. So let's see. Can let you guys see the pen? Awesome. So you have waves here. So it looks like just drawing some parallel lines, these varying many curves things. And so one thing to think about when we're approaching what we're going to do this section right here is that it could go either way, right? So we can draw the parallel lines like this, the width of it. We can draw horizontal any which way. What I like to do, because if you look here, we kind of have the same slope this way. So I'm probably going to draw the lines to keep with that pattern. But if you think about this on a hummingbird, it has its feathers. Feathers are all going to point the same. Which if we thought ahead, feathers would probably point this way. So that's different from what I have. But again, Zendoodling, you can do whatever you want. So
also in the chat right now, I've put a couple links to different images of different Zentangle options. The one that Paul is referencing is actually the second link, and that's the one that was in the PDF that I sent out earlier today as well. So if you don't have that PDF handy, you can also just click that link to have access to that.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Super cool. One thing, I'm going to kind of tilt the page a little bit. I'm left-handed, so that's annoying. If it's obscure at all, just say in the chat if you, want to get a better look, and I can take my hands away. And I also talk with my hands, if you guys can tell, so you'll have to make do with that one. Yeah, that's not changing. So we're drawing some waves here. See that wave? Like, let's take a look, right? This wave, a little thick, a little too thick. The other waves. Again, so we can just kind of correct it. No one's really going to notice, besides you guys I just told. That's okay. So, waves. And let's say you were like, this is a big deal. You could even get a ruler out and, measure, every 4 millimeters or something like that if you wanted to be very precise. I don't have that kind of time. You guys probably don't either. But I know sometimes, for example, when I did, the owl, that was actually for a class project in high school. So it pays to do that. And one thing I also like to do is, let's say you're doing a pattern that looks pretty advanced, you're kind of unsure of how it might go. If you draw in pencil first, then you can see how it looks actually before you put pen down on the paper. That's what I like to do. So now, got the lines down, pretty cool. So now it looks like we draw waves. Now again, you can see, this was okay. These are not parallel. These are not parallel at all. It's overlapping. Is it good?
Yep, I was gonna maybe. I don't think I could.
Yeah, zoom in. No, zoom's not that advanced yet. Maybe next year. Okay, so line. As you can see, this pen works super amazing. So shout out Jocelyn for doing it to me. He's the best children's librarian ever. Wow, pretty good. So you guys can imagine, I'd say reading a book, it'd be kind of hard to draw and read at the same time, at least for me. But listening to music, sometimes, personally, when I call my friends, I like to do something while I call my friends. Or else I think it's just a waste, just sit there and talk on the phone. So you can do this while talking, maybe watching a show. Netflix would be kind of difficult. You have to look up, but you could do it. You're motivated.
We also have a couple of guests who weren't joining us right away. I'm really sorry if I missed seeing you in the waiting room, if you were there for more than a minute or two. But welcome to Zendoodling. We are just going over some different Zentangle designs. You can find lots of different designs online. I will put a link in the chat again for some of the examples of what we're going off of today. I also sent out an email earlier today with a link to a PDF with some examples. But if you could let me know who's watching in the chat, that would be great, so I can count and keep track of how many people were interested. Take it away, Paul.
Okay. So yeah, so if you joined late, thanks for coming. Happy you're here. Hope we can teach you something. So I just did some 2 patterns here. So it looks, pretty good. Could be worse. So now I think I'm going to do again, this is a really big area to do. So I think I might I see we kind of broke up little sections. I think I'm just going to kind of keep doing that so you can kind of draw your own. So perfect. So you can draw stuff like that. I guess I'll just keep it going. Yeah, so that's that. So now we can fill those ones in. So let's see. Again, it's all our handy list of patterns here. I'm thinking we could do some using tipple. That looks fun. Let's tipple it up. So it looks like. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, it shows up. So it looks like we're just gonna draw some circles, a bunch of different circles. What could that be? And sometimes I know a lot of things you can do with those like circles. Try to think. So some ones you can kind of do, they're kind of easy. If you want to relax, let me see. Okay, for example, look at this line here. I just drew lines. That's all it is, just some lines. Here's some zigzags. All these zigzags just diagonal. So sometimes you don't have to use any crazy advanced patterns to look cool. You can just do something simple.
Well, it looks like you repeated some of those patterns in different sections of the main.
Yes, yeah. Yes, you can see, here. And also you can see, for example, in this little main section, that's when you can see a darker line with a lighter line. So that's when it can come in handy to have different sizes. But again, you don't have to. But as Jocelyn pointed out, we have, for example, we have this zigzags. We have it here, got here, here. You can't see this, can you? Yeah, you can see that one down here. So that can be also something if you want to just, within the same drawing, you can kind of dance around and have the same stuff. It's a little pro tip. So we're going to, again, continue to tipple this wing. And one thing, I'm looking at this as I'm doing it, and here we have, some smaller circles here. But now that we're kind of getting to the top of the wing, let's throw in like some bigger circles. Sometimes you can kind of go around, instead of going up at the same time, kind of go around. Again, that's more of an oval, so that's okay, because do what you want.
As Bob Ross says, only happy little accidents.
Only happy accidents. Really no accidents. If I show us to my mom when I go home today, I'll be, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want to do. No one has to know. Not that we advocate lying, because honesty is always the best policy. I'm just saying. Okay, so we're drawing some circles. And I'm sure you guys can see how just quickly drawing these circles is going to be easier than something that requires more focus or care. Something like that. So it looks like we're pretty. So now, if you look at the original design, it looks like they kind of went back through and filled in some of the space. So we're gonna try to do that. Could be a little difficult because some of these circles are pretty dang tiny.
That might be where it would come in handy to have a couple different sizes of pen.
Yes. Excellent observation, Jocelyn. There we go. Someone's thinking.
Or you can, I don't know if this is a stipple or a different design, but you could color in the background if it's not, there's not very much of it, and that gives you a whole nother design. Color in between the circles.
Design inception there. That would be a really cool thing. Actually, maybe to the body because we also have some colors. You can kind of mess around with that. Could be kind of cool.
So Zentangling started out being just black and white, and it would be done on squares of paper or squares of cardstock, and you would kind of fill the square with different groupings of the different designs. So we kind of took off from there and picked some animal outlines to fill in, just because it kind of gives us a unique place, something different than just squares.
I know some people. I think some people actually use it as a form of meditation. I know I mentioned it's kind of it's kind of nice to just back and draw some cool stuff. But let's say you have a square, and let's say this is it. You're just doing some circles, the whole square. It's pretty easy, right? You just relax, keep your mind off stuff. And the one thing I love about drawing is that after you draw something, you have so you created something. It's productive. You have something to show for it. Versus, if I'm, I still play my fair share of video games and watch my fair share of TV. But sometimes it's nice to be able to oh, I did something productive in my time. Feel proud of yourself. It's nice to feel proud of yourself. So almost done here. And finally, this is one of the ones a little more tedious here, drawing small areas. But okay. And if you're looking at how I do this, not being super accurate, so I'm just kind of seeing some white spot and just kind of filling it in. Given the size of it, if there's an error, no one can see it. So here we have our completed temple pattern circles. Looks kind of cool. I like it. I think it was a good choice for us today. So I'm looking. Let's go back to the designs. Let's try to do. Here we have this one's a little more advanced. So try doing advanced. We have a onomatopoeia. A lot going on here. We got a circle, kind of like a smiley face without the eyes. Some other circles, small ones, colored in circles, lines, everything. Really, everything you could dream of in pattern here. So, let's see it. Okay, here we go. Upside down, same thing. So let's try this. And now I know before you kind of go in this direction, let's switch it up. Let's do the other direction, just to put some chaos in your lives. So I think in this, and honestly, looked at this, there's many ways you can start that out. You could start the lines first, whatever. I like to do the bigger details first because it's just easier to size stuff proportion that way. So draw some bigger circles. And we're going to get a half circle here. Now, if we examine this, we see that in the pattern, the circles touch. My circles do not touch, so that's crying shame. So we're going to do them here again. This time we're going to touch those babies up. That's a little. Again, just going to kind of eyeball the distance. Okay, so we got circles. So next looks like we have two lines that go next to the circle. And we're throwing some colored circles in the lines. Again, they're doing the most representing the pattern. I'm proud of what we came up with this one. And let's say you do this, like, oh, that looks perfect. Just keep it like that if you want. Again, when I first started doing it, I'd oftentimes really follow patterns, but once you do it more, you kind of learn like maybe stuff that you like specifically, and then from then on, you're free to follow whatever direction or guidance that you want. Got the lines in. You're going to go through this circles. Okay, cool. Okay, so looks like next we have just open circles and we have some lines. So see, for example, here, right? Because I made my circles weird shapes. What are we going to do there? We could leave it open. You could draw a circle, but that could be a lot of colored circles going on. So I'm just going to keep it personally. Is that the right idea? Who knows? Who cares? There's no right answer to this. The beauty of something. Okay, so got that analysis. We can just draw some parallel lines. Here, not exactly parallel, but okay, so we have finished our Anamano design. Looks pretty cool. A lot going on. I like it. And so now one thing I personally like to do, because these are different sections, is I kind of go through again. This also looks well if you have like a large Sharpie. But just kind of go through and really make those lines between them a lot more defined. So just separate patterns. You don't have to. You could kind of keep it all in one harmonious thing, but I like to keep them separate because they're separate patterns. Okay, so now we are almost done with the wing. Let's see. Then consult our pattern thing here. And so look at this. Let's take a look back here. We have a couple circle things. I'm gonna do some more with lines now, I think. What has lines? Now here we have, looks like a swarm. It's like triangles without the actual outline shape. That looks kind of cool. So let's try that. Don't know how it's gonna work. We're gonna find out. Okay, so it looks like since the triangle is every which way, it doesn't really matter. So I guess we're just gonna kind of draw some triangles. I'm sure there's a geometric way to calculate this somehow. Again, they don't teach that in my other science classes. I don't know. Oh, I kind of like this. Okay. Now this could be an example of a pattern where obviously some of these triangles are not the most triangular. So if you're going for accuracy, you could actually draw out pencil, draw the lines in, and then go back and erase it. I know I talked about those Micron pens earlier. Those are, I love them because you can draw some pencil, directly draw over it and erase it, and the ink is perfectly unperturbed, and the pencil markings go away, which is really nice. I haven't tried it out recently with the Sharpie, but now I have a conundrum. We have a space here. We're going to draw just a triangle. Save, and you'll notice. But
You may want to turn this way so that if you can work that way so that they can see.
Oh, genius. As you can see, Jocelyn is the mastermind of this operation. I'm just me doing along, but without her, we'd be nothing. You should see how long it took to set the camera up.
I'm very thankful to have Paul to help me do this program. I certainly couldn't do as good of a job without his talent.
I think she's capping right now, but maybe next year, Jocelyn, maybe you could try to run it. Come off at med school in a couple of years, you could do it yourself. How hard could it be?
Right after you move away, it's gonna be sad. We've been very lucky to. I don't know if Paul said so at the beginning, but he used to be a page here at LTPL. One of our high schoolers who shelved all of the books as they were returned. And he was great at that and was kind enough to come back and volunteer on his summers home or his breaks from school. And we are very thankful to have him available this summer to do a couple of programs for us.
Yeah, libraries are pretty cool, kids. Definitely a good job if you're a high school kid listening to this. I don't know if any are, but paid a pretty cool job.
We do have a couple.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, kids, if you want to have a cool job, you learn the Dewey Decimal System. Always come in handy. 641's cookbooks. Never forget that. Game changer. I did tell my friend just last week, talking about cookbooks, and yeah, 641 section. They looked at me a little funny, but is that even right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I was hoping.
629 is space. 636 is dogs.
You get to read. Reading's cool. You get to college and you have to read textbooks, and you don't like it that much. So I haven't read in a minute. And then I came. I was like, wait, probably should start reading again. Really good hobby to have. You learn stuff. Just so much positivity. So as you can see here, this section's a little muddy. Not the best. Okay. Because again, a grand scheme of things, you look at the thing as a whole, who would know? No one would know. Perfect. So we're almost like the wing. Okay. So that's what was going? Let's see. Lost it. Swarm. It's a swarm pattern. I think it looks kind of cool. And again, we're going to go back through and make this line a little more distinct. And while we're at this, do you have a normal Sharpie, Jocelyn?
Yeah.
Jocelyn's going to give me a normal Sharpie because she's amazing. So now while she does that, let's think. So got the first wing. Looking at the second wing. And what are we going to do? And I'm kind of thinking this is more darker. We might want to do a lighter pattern here. So it's like separated. Let's see. Looking at our pattern sheet again. I'm looking at rain dotty, which is just a bunch of dots. Seems pretty light. So let's try some rain dotty. Before I do that, I'm going to outline it in the Sharpies that Jocelyn so graciously found for me. One thing to keep in mind if you use Sharpies and a lot of other ink pens is that if you can see I'm lifting my pen up, when you put the pen back down, it's important not to linger in one place or else the ink will start blotting and won't look that hot. Also, you can see Sharpies bleed through. I don't know if that really matters, but if you're making, like, let's say a card for someone, you don't want it to bleed through, you might want to invest in something that's not sure. Okay, so we're gonna do the dots. I guess it's just dots. So I think we turn again upside down techniques. Wait again. It's one dead, but please hold. Technical difficulties. Oh, it's not dead. I'm just not that smart. Okay, here we go. So that looks pretty mediocre. Let's try to do a bigger one here. And better.
Make sure you pull your hand away to show us. Ah, cool.
Das. Amazing. Also, if you guys have some free time, don't forget to sign up for the summer reading program. I used to think it was just for kids. And being an adult, I would sign up for it, but then I realized anyone can sign up, even adults. And we have cool prizes. For example, cool glow stick band. It glows in the dark. You can't tell, but let's take my word for it. It does. We have highlighters, pens,
Yep.
nail filer thing.
Yep.
Useful.
Hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer. I mean, come on, like read the room, guys. How much better could you get? Okay, so
There's some color changing pencils. We have some dragon head fighter grabbers. We have some dragon water squirters. We have some gnome rubber duckies. Lots and lots of fun stuff.
I mean, it's free. All you have to do is read, which you should do anyway, because it's good for your brain. So it's a win-win for everybody, frankly. So sign up. I think online. Can you sign up online?
Yes, you can go to ltpl.org and click on the summer reading link, and that will take you right to the page to Read Squared, which is our online portal this year.
And one thing I recently found out is I've been told to get a Kindle or some reader tablet. And you can actually check out books from these online services that we offer for free. So I've been holding off on getting one because I'm like, I don't want to pay $20 to read a book for 2 hours. But as Jocelyn recently informed me about 5 minutes ago, you get it for free. So how much better can you get? One thing, if you see, my circles are pretty shoddy, especially this whole area here. So we're gonna try to make these other ones a little better. Gonna learn from our mistakes. Set up that perimeter a little bit.
And if anyone wants to turn their video on and share what they're working on, we'd love to see. Oh, it looks like here. Let me spotlight your video for a minute. Oh, very
Let's see
nice. That looks like. Oh,
Can we get back so I can see it?
Paul's requesting another look.
Is that
Very
Molly? Is
nice.
it Carrot?
It's
Carrot!
yeah.
Hey, Miss
So,
Reed.
so I got the
Anyway.
impression that Paul might know you. So I was waiting until the end to tell him you were watching because I didn't want him to get nervous. But yes, the Reed family.
The Reed family is actually one of my best friends. Is their son, so we're very close.
This is Carter's.
They can't hear you.
I'm number 2. Yes,
Very nice, Carter.
well, Carter's one too. We love to see it.
Yeah.
Carter, sorry I haven't answered my phone.
Yeah, Carter asked if Paul could please identify the colors that he was holding
Yes.
earlier, and I politely said that was Miss Jocelyn's job because Paul is colorblind.
I'm the color, which is why this is so nice because it's black and white. You don't have to ask your friend. I have done color. I usually just ask my friends or my mom. Usually my mom. I say, Mom, what color is this? But let's see. You know what, Carter? Let's go. Blue. This is blue.
And Zach is colorblind too, so.
Ah, okay. Zach is also colorblind.
Zach. There we go. Representation. 1 in 8 men are colorblind. Very common. This is purple. That's a weird.
Yes.
Something weird going
Yeah.
on. This is dark purple.
That one,
Maybe.
I think it's a really dark blue, or that might actually be another black. Let me see. No, you're right. It is very dark purple.
Maybe Jocelyn's colorblind.
You had it right. Very dark
We
purple.
have a nice magenta
Yes.
color here.
All right, we're muting because the dogs are going nuts with this whites.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you, Reed's family.
Hold on to this.
Love you, Paul.
Love you too.
Love you.
Love to see my fans.
So yes, along with Karen and Molly and Zach and Carter, we also have Jennifer joining us and Jenny. We have the Veriloni family. So that's probably Aaron and possibly Iris and Noel. We have Yadal. And we have, I'm not sure, C. Hannah is also with us, but I can't match that up with any of our registrants. So I'm not sure exactly who that is, but I'm excited.
It's Tracy.
It's Tracy. Very
Yay.
good. All right.
Well, I repeat all your names, but I'm not that good with names. My memory is not that good. But thank you for being here, everybody. I hope we can have some good vibes during our quarantine. So now I'm looking. So we got the wings done, right? Wings. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Very nice.
Pretty, some wings that can flap around. Pretty nice. Got to do the body and the head. It's a tricky one. I'm thinking I might just cop out and do some squares. That's easy because it's just a square. So I'm just going to do that for this main section here. Just kind of throw off. We have a lot of circles going on. Let's just let's throw some squares. See how that? There we go. So yeah, we're just drawing squares.
Oh, Veriloni family is sharing some pictures.
Let's see it.
Let me spotlight that video.
Ooh, we got some flower.
Look at that. Ah.
Ocean show.
Cool. Very cool,
That's
ladies.
Cool.
I like
those.
it.
And that's one of those, can everyone see that?
Yes.
So
Yep.
that's again one of those really cool things where you can, let's take a flower or something simple. You can just have each petal be a different design, or each feather section different design. So that way, it's not terribly difficult to think about, but it still looks really, really cool, and you can have a really cool effect from it. Okay, so different squares. Some of these might be rectangles. I'm not really measuring them, but that's okay. Gotta do good because I know Karen, Carter, Malay, and Zach are watching me. You can see my hands basically shaking, but power through.
So I saw there were a few different designs that start out just by sectioning your the area you're going to color into some different sections and then drawing within each section. I'll find a couple of those examples and show you as Paul's adding in these squares.
And this again is a perfect example of if you want to be precise, you could get some rulers out, get a grid out.
Yep. So
really make them correct.
So here's one example of where you're going to make a grid and then make another grid on top of it. And then from there, color, and that kind of helps you fill in the whole space. I'll find there's a few more that start out in that similar vein. There's one called cubine. So you're going to start with diagonal in one direction and then diagonal in the other direction, and then start to add in some squares and some other lines. Be light, that's another option. Oh, that's looking good, Paul.
Thank you, Ms. Jocelyn. Your everlasting support and love.
Indeed,
So,
everlasting support and love.
That's what we call the LTPL for, right? Right, guys? So now I'm thinking as I'm drawing this, because my mind is free to wander. What am I gonna do next? So many ideas. I really know. I think for the beak, I think we can do some zigzags or just maybe some arrows to give it, beak-like proportions. See, for example, we messed up so good. The grid was perfect. Look, there's one little square. Disappointment, but that's okay because we don't need white out, and that's too much work even if we did. We're gonna keep it going. I guess these are its feet. I was a little confused with that. That was the feet. Let's try the feet right now. We're not gonna do anything for the feet because they're small. That would be stupid. Again, if you guys are interested, I'd highly suggest going to Pinterest. Some of these people are really, really quite good at what they do. They make this look like it was an amateur, person. Well, it is an amateur person. They make it look like it was bad because their stuff is really good. It's pretty crazy to see how creative and talented some people in this world are.
And I just want to say thank you again for joining us. Really appreciate that you registered and that you came on. We're going to be doing another workshop in about 10 days, another Zentangle. So if you want to come back, it'll probably be similar, but we may try some different designs. So you're welcome to attend to the next one as well.
What day is that?
That is going to be on Thursday, the 16th, and that's going to be at 4 o'clock. We made it a little bit earlier because we were aiming for a slightly younger audience.
Cool. I honestly didn't know that either, but I'm glad to see it.
I think he knew that and he just forgot.
That's 100% what happened. I actually had the joy of sitting at home every day and writing medical school essays. So a lot goes in your mind. So we basically did this. I'm kind of going through and fixing some of these sorry excuses for squares. And one thing you notice is this ink, when I'm putting it down, not to, shift all the blame, but if you push down too hard, sometimes the ink can run and make it not square like. But that is good enough for who it's for.
Looking great.
I like to say. And again, we're going to go back with our big Sharpie here and just outline everything. Okay, so I think we're going to do the beak now. First, we're going to outline the beak. Easier. My master design is really simple because sometimes the laziest option is the best option. We are simply going to take this line. You can see this natural line here in the drawing, and it's going to make a bunch of parallel lines. That's all we're going to do. Very simple.
But it immediately gives it quite a texture.
That's just what I was going for, the texture. Exactly. Now, if you're really advanced, you'd have these lines match up. I did not think that far ahead, so we're not doing it. Also, these lines are way too small to see at the bottom. Look at that. Texture and everything. Get the eye going. This is one hard thing. Sometimes you draw natural, you have like the white of the eye and it's different from the black of the eye. That's good enough. Again. So now we have the head and we have the tail. So it's quite a conundrum here. Again, if any time I become stupid and move my hand, the picture off the screen, just let someone else know and show you what I mean. Fix it. So, because we're out of ideas, we're going to look through a handy dandy Zentangle book from the LTPL that's available to check out, I think. And any catch your eye here, Jocelyn? Oh my God, they already did it.
Yeah.
See, here's the example. Now, if I was really smart, I would have seen this before and just copied it and pretend like I knew what I was doing. This is what they got going. That's kind of cool. I like it. They try to play us because if you pay attention here, they draw something around the eye. They're trying to get me not to. You know what? I'm gonna copy them just for. I'm gonna do this. I like this kind of diagonal design here. Sorry, still. So we have this. Oh, hold on. Technical difficulties. There we go. We have some like just basic diagonals with squares on it. Wait, I'm not gonna copy it. Never mind. How you do squares here? I could never. Just sin.
I think maybe try this.
That one. We could do that.
That's Snapple.
Snapple, of course.
But then they colored it in some.
Should we do some Snapple on it?
Looks like that's not. That's on the body.
That's yeah.
Fife.
Fife, of course. Fife. My favorite pattern. So they did Fife. So yeah, we can do Fife. Let's get some Fife going.
So here's a step-by-step. We want to start by making a grid of dots. And then we're going to draw a string of petals across the top row, using the dots as a guide for the edge of each petal. Then we're going to repeat with a string of petals on each row. Then we're going to add the vertical strings of petals so that we have kind of a whole grid. When we start adding petals at the diagonal and petals at the other diagonal. So let's set this aside. And
Simple as that. So yeah, so let's actually try to do what we're supposed to and just draw this. Check the head. So just the head. Too much going on.
I was thinking the tail.
I was in the tail. I agree
Yeah.
with that. I'm gonna do some Fife for the tail. I think I'll do the bottom portion just because it's bigger. So
we're starting out with our grid of dots.
grid of dots. And this is probably better because if I was to draw it, I'd start throwing circles and throwing everything in there. So this way, a little more neat and orderly. I don't know how grid-like my grid actually is. It's could be worse. So we have our Fife going.
I just put in chat a website that's all devoted to different tangle patterns and has links to some videos. So later on, you can check that out.
So as we draw our Fife, I begin to notice that we don't have enough room. Quite a conundrum. We'll have to work around that one. Don't know how yet, but it's okay.
Perhaps we'll make it a little less complicated.
We might make a more simple Fife. I'm trying to think of a pun on the word Fife. I cannot at the moment, so apologize for that. Okay, so we're almost done with the top half of the fife. And I'll do the bottom half of the fife. Fife is quite an interesting word. I don't know who came up with that. I don't really think any of these are words.
So it was named Fife as a nod to the flower of life resonance that is possible when you lay out your rows in alternating alignment.
So obvious, I feel even stupider for not knowing that.
No, we don't use the word stupid here at the library.
My bad. Ignorant, better word. Because sometimes you're stupid, you're ignorant.
Yeah, you just didn't know.
As my dad says, most people are ignorant of most of what there is to know. Probably because there's a lot of stuff to know. So we got the top fife going. If you recall, the original fife pattern looks like that. I frankly don't think that's happening. So instead, let's see. You know what? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do maybe a vertical fife component. I don't know about the diagonal. We're gonna have to.
You could do every other vertical
Ooh.
fife and give it a little bit more white space.
That could work. Thank you, Miss Jocelyn, for the. No, I'm gonna do every. I'm
Always here with the artistic suggestion.
But that was a good idea. And, you know, this could be my downfall. We will see. We can maybe do and we could just keep it like this, honestly. I can't get fired. I don't even work here. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Paul is also doing this out of the kindness of his heart. He did not request to be paid for his time today, so we are very appreciative. And we may give him some of summer reading prizes just as a thank you. I think he might enjoy a nail file.
I mean, I don't think any sort of cash or money could even come close to recreating the LTPL engrammed nail file. I mean, how many people have that? I'm going to talk to the town back in East Lansing when I go back to school. So we have this. I'm just going to do like a vertical line. So it's simple, and I can. So now, if we look at this, as I'm looking at this, I have no clue what's going on. There's a lot of lines here. A little clunky. Might not be my best. Fife might not be my best pattern. You know, might not be my worst. I'm sure I've done worse in my life. Could tell you when, but I'm sure it's happened statistically. But I do think because we have so many lines here, I want to have some black maybe. So I think I might go and do like every other color and every other one. Alternate. Well, shoot, I was gonna alternate, but then I messed that up. We're gonna alternate up here, and then hopefully no one notices. Not there. This one?
So it is 8:12. So if anyone needs to go, we understand. We scheduled until 8:30 just to give us enough time, but we've only got a couple sections left. And if anyone wants to show us what they're working on before they leave, please let me know, and I can put you in the spotlight video.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm a pretty slow drawer, so you have to go. I apologize, but I hope you had fun.
That looks nice.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Phone's showing me up. So yeah, we have some fife. didn't quite look like the book, but you're not gonna ever know about that movie, so it's okay. Okay, so 2 more patterns here. I want something nice for the head. Let's take a look for my own. Do you have one?
I don't know.
Ooh, you could do that. Yeah, you can do that. Just some circles in the middle. That's simple. Yeah, that would do that. Save
All right,
time.
here, let's see one of the ones that we,
Let's look at our helpful guides here. See
we
what's
did one
good.
kind of like this.
Yeah, I already got.
You did
I already
that.
got
You
that
could,
one.
you could do this.
Just a bunch of circles. Yeah, let's do a bunch of circles.
So we're gonna try printups, which we start out just by drawing a dot and a small spiral around the dot.
Yeah, and this actually is probably one of my favorite top, 300 patterns. So it's really quite up there. Pretty simple. Again, for anyone that missed it, here, if I took it way too fast, you just draw circles and then you keep drawing them. How hard could it be? So again, we're going to remember what I kind of told you guys earlier, where when you're drawing circles, the lines can, the lines can sometimes be misconstruing the size of the circle.
Miss Lissa, I think you should come over and stand in front of the camera for a minute because your dress is very Zentangle-ish.
I will absolutely come over.
All right, look at that.
I do have a very
Oh.
Zentangle-ish dress
Yeah,
on
let's-
today.
Let's,
I don't know if they can see
Can you
very
see
well.
it?
There we go. It's got a lot of interweaving lines and different patterns that would work very well for Zentangle.
yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you, Miss Moore.
Thanks, Miss Lissa.
How serendipitous. Did you plan this?
I did not.
Oh my, it was meant to be. Yeah, I've actually, as I've, in recent years, there has been a surge of popularity. I've noticed that they've closed and, there's a lot of designs that have this kind of, Zentangle pattern. It becomes more popular. Okay, so now we have the main area done. We have the head. I think I might copy, I don't know if I can find it. It's in the book. It's basically like that. Yeah, so look how
Is
these
that
are.
one of these? Or
Kind of.
not quite like that?
It's kind of like a the Zeppel.
A little bit like that?
Yeah.
Or, let's
I think
see.
it was in the book. The book is my muse. It's okay. They're all, again, those definitely hundreds and hundreds of patterns online, books. You can make your own. So the reason I'm thinking of something simple is because you have a head, and I don't want the head to be so convoluted compared to other ones.
Well, I know you were looking at outlining a little bit of white space for around the eye. I don't know if that's still.
Oh, that's why I was going to copy. Yeah, that's why I was going to do that.
Okay.
I'm thinking we can't, I don't want to entirely copy them, but if that's missing Jocelyn, so one thing to point out, if you look at the pattern here, they kind of, we're being careful. We have a very precise camera set up. I'm just going to copy this. We're not going to copy the eye because we can't copy too much stuff because I could get sued for that. So we're just going to do the zigzags here. Oops. How hard could it be? So this is something that you probably want to have closer attention to, because given how spacious it is, if one of your lines is not concise, crooked. It might be the fact. Yeah, for example,
Might be
that
a little
line.
more obvious.
That line right there messed up.
So
Floors.
here is floors. That's what we're doing right now. We start with even grid, and then we start making squares inside at the corner where each meet.
Yes. Now we know the name. That's good. I would imagine for something. And again, this would be an example of wanted a ruler that could actually work. I want to be a surgeon when I grow up. We'll see how that one goes. One thing, so you notice here, I lifted the pen up and I made that little boo-boo. So if you really were, that one's crooked. So again, not my best work, but it's okay.
Not bad.
Then we're gonna go and make all these little squares. Thank you for your words of affirmation, Ms. Jocelyn. See, when I make a square there, because then its eye is going to become a rectangle. And that's going to just be anatomically incorrect. And as you can tell, we were all about science at this public library. So questions if you guys tune in next week. What are we going to do next week? I have no clue. That's what I like to call a next week problem. I'm not going to worry about this week because it's I'm not going to show up. Really puts things in perspective. Okay, so basically.
All right.
Done. So here we have it. It took about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe an hour and 15. We have this cute little design. Could be good for cards, or maybe your crush loves doodles of hummingbirds. It could be romantic. Who really knows? And so this way, as you can kind of see my thought process. And you could have done really any design. Remember, as we showed the hummingbird from the book, completely different design, but they both, I think, look pretty cool.
All right. Is there anyone else who would like to
share
turn
their
video on and show us what you've been working on?
Any questions? You're confused? You don't like my incessant babbling? Nobody?
I think we have a little bit of a lag, so we may have to wait a moment. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer says nothing to share right now, but she's excited to try it out on her own.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm glad to. Let me take my mask off, bro. Actually, get up. We'd love to see it here at the LTPL. I'm glad we could have some inspiration. Again, I definitely encourage you to just to practice and look at other people's designs. Because again, I mean, there's a big difference. I know I showed. That's me. Granted, we showed a lion, someone else did versus a shark that I did. I'd say lions have been better, but that's okay. We all gotta start somewhere. I'm not gonna be an artist when I grow up. I'll make money. So, any other comments do we have here? Jennifer,
No.
Jennifer, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a little strange to have this new normal here, but we make do.
Yeah.
And don't forget to sign up for summer reading.
Yes. I know many of you are signed up for summer reading, but if you aren't, please do register, and you can get 100 bonus points just for attending today's program. And we are the special code, which I should have said earlier before anyone left, is DRAW. DRAW is our secret code for the program. I will also email that to everyone who attended And I can even go in and manually give you the 100 points too. So happy to do any of that. Thanks so much for joining us. And I think we are all set. Oh, it looks like the Veriloni family has some to share. Let's spotlight them.
I want to come see.
Oh,
Ooh.
beautiful.
That's just what I was talking about
Oh, I
earlier.
love that.
That looks so cool when you have all the
Oh,
Oh, that's lovely.
got some like sea anemone vibes going.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Beautiful.
So, and you can imagine, I've seen there's also something called
Oh, and we've got, let's see. Yadel is also sharing. Let's spotlight her video. Ah, nice. And you can see lined paper.
oh,
you can do
swan.
Oh, it's lovely.
it. You can do it on just about anything. I love that.
That one's really cool.
Very beautiful.
And you guys can imagine, you do it. I know it goes a flower lily, and for example, the swan, you can do all the different feathers for the swan or the flower, every petal. As you do it more and more, it's going to look even more and more cool. So amazing, amazing, guys. Y'all really catching on to it.
And Jenny S. from Farmington Hills, thank you so much for joining us. That was very kind of you to say thank you. We're glad you're here.
Thank you, Jenny.
All right. Very cool. All right, I think we're going to sign off, but we will see you again soon and have a wonderful rest of your day.